bringing you inspiration on transformation. So today's lesson is all about the lens of perception. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We all see reality through a lens, our belief systems. My lens is pretty magical, you know. I like to see life through a little bit of mystery and magic and enchantment, because life can be pretty muggle work. I mean, do you guys know about muggles and Harry Potter and all that stuff? So I prefer a much more magical perspective of life. Let's just admit it. It's much more fun to live this way. So we inherit these lenses of perception through conditioning, right? Through our social conditioning. We gather them from people in our lives. We gather them from, there's like collective cultural lenses of conditioning that we inherit, right? And so this is kind of like our ego proving our lens right. We get attached to them. It's the ego gets attached. Like, I know my story about reality, and I know I'm right about this, and here is all this proof that I will find about being right about this person. Like, how many times have you said to yourself, like, oh, I know how this is gonna go. I know how this person's gonna be because I have this story and I have all this proof to validate that this person is this way. It's kind of like a curse of righteousness that we stamp upon something and we become this rigid, unwilling to see an alternate perspective that could be like a little crack of an alternate perspective that could be possible for this circumstance or this person or reality. All right, so we kind of like put this curse and then we only see life through that lens. So, all right, so I want you to pay attention to when you use the words all, like all women are da 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 da, like all people who live in California are, or never, like I will never da da da, or always, I will always blah 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 blah. Right, so those are kind of curses that don't actually leave a crack for an alternate possibility to exist. You literally put blinders onto your perspective and all you see is like all women are blah blah blah, all women are blah, and like outside in your blind spot alternate realities exist, but you're simply not open to seeing them. And you get to be right about it. You get to prove your ego. See, I know that all women, because all I see in this narrow scope of my perspective is that people are like this. Consider just a possibility that your lens of perception is limited and that there could be an alternate view out there, another story and another lens that has a more dynamic view of life. To actually consider, oh, my view is this way because I grew up on this side of the world. Your view is this way because you grew up on this side of the world. Of course you see the world that way because you grew up with a totally different view of life. And of course my view is this way, but it doesn't mean that my view is the only and the right view. You know, so open up your lens, open up the scope, and pay attention to what are my lenses that I'm wearing? What is the scope of reality that I'm seeing the world through? And choose your lenses wisely. You know, it's really easy to see the world as negative and dark place full of a lot of violence, especially since the media really programs a lot of that into our consciousness. But the truth is, if you get out and travel, and I've had the privilege to do a little bit of traveling and talking to a lot of different people around the world, is the majority of the world is really kind and beautiful, and humans all just want connection and love and peace. And when you have a media that's saturated, the lens of perception of media is like tinting our lens of like, here's what exists in the world, and they show a very narrow, very like dramatic, adrenaline-rich, fear-based media sources. We get captivated and we're like, oh my god, the world is like scary and violent and horrible, as opposed to like, 99% of the rest of the scope of reality is very different. And so I think it's really good to get out and talk to different people and get a different lens of perception of reality. So I will leave you with this. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it. And you know the platform 9 3/4 in Harry Potter? So most of the muggles, the average people, just walk right past all of these little cracks to magic, like little portals to magical worlds. They just walk right past and they're like, no, this is magic doesn't exist. As opposed to the wizards and the enchanting people, they know that there are little cracks and portals to beautiful things in life. And I just think it's really fun to go through life seeing things through a little bit of magic in reality. So put on your magic lenses and open your mind up to seeing the beauty of life all around you, the enchantment of creation. Thanks for tuning in today. For more inspiration on transformation, go to imaginalself.com. Till next time, my friend, keep vision questing and manifesting your magic.